watch lists in Australia, or what the one who has said he was born in Australia?
My understanding at this stage is that they weren't on watch lists. Again, I don't want to go too much beyond this. It is early days. You'll also understand I won't want to jeopardise the case that may be taken in the future as well. I do also want to acknowledge that I have been contacted by Prime Minister Scott Morrison. I intend to speak with him directly as soon as I'm able.
Advice about the risk profile.
Spoken to any other world leaders following the attack?
Not at this stage, but certainly the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Prime Minister of Australia have contacted the Deputy Prime Minister and myself.
Do you give us a sense of the age of the victims?
Not at this stage. I will have been amongst other members of the public who will have seen the footage as the injured were being brought to Christchurch A&E, and you certainly can see from that footage there is a real range of ages there. I imagine that these would have represented particular brothers, fathers, sons.
Killed?
I haven't had a breakdown at this stage. Sorry, it's not information I can share.
What is your advice at the moment about the
The
risk?
Australian man clearly has a very, we now know he has a very prevalent online presence, and it seems like it's been, stemmed back for a couple of weeks. How was it not that they have not been put on the watch list?
Again, these are obviously questions that at this point I'm unable to give additional details on. Obviously, though, that offender is in custody now, so I can give that assurance he has been apprehended. He is also accompanied by two other associates. He is being actively questioned, obviously. These may be additional questions that you could put to the Commissioner of Police.
Questions that you're asking of your
Obviously,
agencies?
absolutely. Again, as I say, I've given you the advice they've given me about watch lists, but obviously these are absolutely questions that we'll be asking, including access to firearms.
What is your advice about any ongoing risks in either Christchurch or other centres, and what is the advice to people out there who still might be very worried about the situation?
At this stage, I'm certainly asking people to continue to follow the advice of the police. Yes, we have apprehended, there have been 3 individuals apprehended. However, the police aren't taking for granted that there may well be others that may need to be brought into custody. They've got no reason to expect that, but they haven't ruled it out. So please, in the meantime, continue to listen to police advice. But I also want to give assurance to people. The police are obviously incredibly active on the ground. They are bringing in additional police officers. The Defence Force are bringing them down. So just listen to the advice that's available to you. But we are ensuring the security of those who are moving around in Christchurch at this time.
The 4th person that was arrested, Prime Minister, you say this one principal had 2 associates.
Yes.
The 4th person, what have they?
They're not connected. They're not directly connected to the attack.
Arrested in Christchurch?
Sorry.
Are all the arrests in Christchurch?
That is my understanding, yes.
Can you tell us why they've been arrested?
In connection to the attacks today, or the individual that wasn't. That would be a question for Commissioner Bush. I'm not sure if that's something I'm able to share, but they're not anyone who is a threat to the public.
Think about the relationship that those arrested have to one another. Do they share the same ideology, or what is their...
Certainly that is the assumption that I would make at this stage. We've seen from one of the offenders that they have publicised their ideology. I have no reason to assume anything other than that those others who have been arrested would subscribe to the same ideology, which I can only describe as
Are they New
extreme.
Zealanders?
What's your plan for visiting?
I'm not in a position to give away additional details on their citizenship at this stage, Barry.
Anything else about the IEDs, what they were, how they were disarmed, and whether there's any risk that there could be further?
At this point, I think that's an opportunity to really acknowledge the work that the police are doing. The apprehending of a suspect in an extremely volatile situation, really putting themselves at risk on our behalves, and I want to acknowledge that. Particularly also disarming the explosives that were, as I understand, attached to the suspects' cars. There were 2 of them. They have been disarmed now, but obviously that was a high-risk situation. Gives us an indication that there was a degree of planning around what has happened today.
Was there an intention for a suicide?